Thanks for joining me on Life in Surround for a somewhat rare episode of Life in Stereo. I occasionally focus on stereo just because I love too much music exclusively mixed in the format to completely ignore it all. So please forgive this brief departure from surround and immersive music content. I'm here to talk to you today about the albums 2002 through 2012 by Rush. This is a Rhino Records release that pulls together 4 albums put out on various record labels such as Anthem Atlantic, Roadrunner, and TYS. Here's the front of the box set, here's the spine, and here's the back. Here's Vapor Trails Remixed, front and back. And this album comes with one lyric sheet, I believe, with the tarot cards on there. One lyric sheet, and then the double LP vinyl records are protected by sleeves with poly liners, so I appreciate that touch. And those are very likely replicas of the original label that would have come on the LP in 2013. So album credits suggest that this is the 2013 Andy Van Dett mastering, and given that this is a new 2025 Canadian album, I would venture to say that a repressing was done recently with the 2013 stampers. All right. And so then moving on to feedback. Here's the front, here's the back, and this one gets a gatefold. So you have an image of the boys and a write-up from Neil Peart about what it was like to make this album with his friends. And then the LP comes again protected in this polyliner sleeve. The credits indicate a 2004 Stephen Markison mastering, which would be the original LP mastering. So the fact that this sounds better than my 2004 US copy probably comes down to the quality of the pressing itself. Next we have Snakes and Arrows, 2007. This is a Brian Big Bass Gardner mastering, according to the credits. Here's the gatefold. The album back with those hands, those aged, wizened hands holding the arrow and the snake. I like it. Then I think we get 2 lyric sheets for this album. One for sides A and B, and then the other sides C and D. Forgive me if they are actually sides 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm not meaning to suggest they are numbered a particular way. We could check. Why don't we check? B. Alright, so A, B. And again, is this a replica of the original label from 2007? Maybe. And then that brings us to Clockwork Angels, 2012. Here's the front. Here's the gatefold, showing the guys and part of the Clockwork universe. Get 2 sleeves with lyrics and additional story, because Clockwork Angels is a concept album outright. The whole album, the whole double LP, is a concept. Tells a story. So reading along with the lyrics and reading the additional tidbits of the story can definitely heighten your experience. And I think it is a valid reason to own music in 12-inch format. Here's the back. Yeah, so each one of these records sounds best to me on my system, and I can't tell you whether that is a function of whether I like the OPPO BDP95 DAC well or not, or whether the system I put together for playing vinyl is particularly, well chosen or suitable to my ears or not. For some reason, all four of these albums sound best to me on my system, and I can compare that to an original 2004 US version of Feedback, where this pressing sounds better, even though it's the same mastering. And I can compare to various CD releases and the MVI release for Snakes and Arrows, which happens to have 5.1 mix on it, by the way. So there's your surround tie-in. And then also some various high-res digital downloads. This is the way that I will be listening to the latter four Rush releases. It sounds best on my system. I can hear intricacies in the playing. That's very important. It helps me really get into the songs. For one thing, Geddy's bass lines have always been absolutely crucial to Rush music, and to lift the mud off of that playing and to let me actually hear, everything that he meant. Some songs have a higher bass part layered over a lower bass part, and then you have Alex's guitars around that and various sound effects and Neil's kit. It can be a lot to expect out of a 2-channel mix, but somehow the mastering for these vinyl LPs, maybe it's gentle enough that I'm only hearing stuff that makes sense to me, and the other information just isn't doing me a whole lot of good like in the digital realm. So hey, I wanted to show off each of these 4 records that come in the new set. Rush, the albums 2002 through 2012. Now, thinking about Vapor Trails Remixed for a second, and the fact that this set is called 2002 through 2012 and not 2004 through 2012, sort of suggests to me I would really have loved it if they had included, along with Vapor Trails Remixed, a vinyl pressing of the original Vapor Trails mix. And the reason I say that is that this 2013 LP sounds so much better than my 2013 CD that I wonder if Vapor Trails, the original mix, could sound pretty good if carefully mastered onto vinyl. Because, vinyl has limitations. You have to know what you're doing to cut a proper lacquer. And it could be that those limitations do my hearing some favors, at least to my taste, on my system. So that would be my one nitpick of the set. I would have loved to have had both versions of Vapor Trails included. And so we have, 2002 represented just because that's when Vapor Trails was born and it was released to the world. But this version stems from 2013, and I know I'm not alone in saying that other fans would like to hear the original Vapor Trails on vinyl. So I might have to track that down. That could be my next Rush adventure. So I hope this video has been helpful or at least entertaining for you. I wanted to give enough information so that you could make an informed decision whether you want to track this set down if you haven't already, or whether you might be happiest with the copies of the albums that you already have. Maybe you already have the original LP releases, for instance. So it is the same stampers, but a new pressing, so you may want to consider that this pressing might sound better. So anyway, I have enjoyed listening to each of these records. This LP set has gotten me deeper into these 4 albums. I would love to hear what would happen if these albums were given a really excellent Atmos treatment. That could also do wonders for just opening up all the layers there for you to hear. But in stereo, for me, this will be my go-to listening experience for these latter 4 Rush releases. So I'm grateful that I've been able to listen to it and to share the experience with you. If you like what I do, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, share these videos, comment, do all that stuff that helps support this channel and make it look important to the YouTube algorithm. I appreciate all of your support, and until next time, live life in stereo or surround.